but I want to hear about the guy in the t-shirt.
All right, well, welcome to our second ramble, and I'm going to tell you about the guy in the t-shirt. This guy was brilliant. We were talking about marketing before we hit the record button. And there was a guy, he was a marketing major, and he was having problems finding a job. So he starts his own company. I Wear Your T-Shirt. And I think the website, I don't know if it's still up, iwearyourtshirt.com. So January 1st, you paid him $1, and he would wear your t-shirt. And you'd go out and he'd do videos and social media and kind of things, and he'd post it and everything like that. So day one's $1. He's working all day for $1. Day two, January 2nd, he charged $2. The next day, $3. The next day, $4. The next day, $5. The last day, $365. Well, if you spread it all out, it adds up to quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
You know, by the end of the year, you're making $364, $365, and per day.
Plus all the money you made on the back end.
Yeah, plus all the money you made on the back end. And he was raking it in to the point that he started doubling his prices. And, you know, certain days were really popular. Like you had to get December 25th. Years ahead of time. He's not doing it anymore now, but he got a second guy to do it, and he started paying him to do it. And so, yeah, there's tons of ways to make money if you want to be creative.
Yeah, I believe that. I got one for you.
All right.
And this was told to me by the president of my university when I went to school. So I'm going to believe it's true, but I've never fact-checked it.
Well, if it's the president, it must be true.
Yeah. He told the story of how UPS got started.
Really? Okay, I want to hear this.
And this, I'm relaying it, and this is the way it was told to me. Back in the day, you had messengers on bikes, and they would courier these legal documents back and forth. Remember, this pre-internet, pre-DocuSign, and all this other stuff. And so
you're talking before cars, even probably.
No, not before cars. They're talking like 70s, 80s. You know.
Okay.
There's a bunch of movies out there about bicycle couriers, and that especially in New York or in Seattle and those areas.
We're talking bicycles, not motorcycles. We're talking bicycles.
Well, there are some motorcycles, but bicycles can move through those congested areas like New York City easier than motorcycles can.
Okay.
So it's very common to have bicycle couriers. I'm sorry. In fact, I think even to this day they still have bicycle couriers, even though some stuff can still be signed electronically. They have to have some stuff signed in wet ink.
They do. I guarantee you, because I know that DoorDash and some of these companies that deliver food in New York, they were doing it by bicycle at one point. I don't know if they still are now, but they had bicycle couriers picking up your food and dropping it off because it's so congested.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's better than driving a car in some places.
So anyway, this guy, he's a little special, and he doesn't have much money. Kind of halfway homeless most of the time. But he's got this bicycle route that's during this couriering back and forth for documents and stuff and small packages and things from these office buildings. And he finally scrapes up enough money and he gets this delivery van, just this old kind of milk truck delivery van. And he's convinced somebody is going to steal it. And he doesn't have any money. He's actually living out of the van. And so he goes down to the local hardware store and he buys the cheapest amount of paint that he can get, which is mismatched. You know, it's a color that somebody custom ordered and it didn't come out right or whatever, so it sits for, $5 over on the counter, the paint counter.
Let me guess, it's kind of like an off-brown, kind of reddish brown.
It's a brown color.
Okay.
The brown color, I might add. And that color has been the same forever. But he's just really paranoid about this. So he gets yellow paint and he tries to make it look federal. And he needs to come up with something that people would think it would be the post office.
So instead of USPS, it's UPS.
United Parcel Service. And that is how UPS got started.
Oh, that is
One
hilarious.
kind of just scraping it together guy who did everything he could to just try and ensure his business. And just, like I always tell my kids, you got to hustle. And you got to get out there and you got to beat that ground every day. In fact, one of my favorite quotes, and I can't remember who it is, it's Mary something or other, is, courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes courage is the small voice that says, we'll try again tomorrow. And that's what this guy did every day.
Absolutely.
Until he finally got this empire that we call UPS.
Wow. Well, I mean, most of these humongous companies, I mean, all these humongous companies, they start really small in people's homes, in people's living rooms, in people's garages.
Amazon.
Oh,
It was a book company.
well, you know how he started that.
It was out of his garage.
He had sold his share of whatever big company. He had started a company. I don't remember what it was. Let me look it up. Hold on one second. Let me look it up.
Well, he's looking it up. Here's a fun one. It's another fun one that I learned in the business section of my university classes. The president of the university taught that section of classes. Shell Oil started out as a shrimping business. And it was in the Gulf area. And the family had a shrimping business, and the dad had passed away or got too sick to work the business. And the son, who had a business degree, came back and tried to run the fish business, but didn't know anything about the fish business, the shrimping business. And it was a failure. It was doing terrible. He didn't know where to go. He didn't really know what to do. But he did know how to go to the bar. And he was going to the bar very often in the little fishing area. And he would sit with all these guys, but he wouldn't sit with the fishermen. He would sit with the oil workers from the rigs. And they would talk about that and that. And he says, I could do that. I could market oil. I mean, getting it out of the ground seems pretty straightforward. I could market it. I could run that business. It's not like fish where you have to find them every day, you know? And so he sold his family's shrimping boat business and started a small little tiny oil business with just a few derricks. Well, the boat was called the Little Shell. So he named the business after selling the fish business, Shell Oil.
And he is a multi-gazillionaire now.
Oh, yeah.
Well, now he's dead.
Yeah, the business is, Shell Oil's have got their hand in everything that has anything to do with petroleum.
I looked up Bezos. Okay, so he was some financial investor, lucrative job. He decides he's done. He leaves. He starts selling books out of his garage because it was a book company. I remember when it was a book company. It wasn't that long ago. Mm-hmm. And he started expanding, and I looked it up. He got a loan from his parents for seed money, $245,000. So that's not chump change. But like, I have a house, you have a house. If I really needed to get a loan against the house, I could get some of that and invest. Like, my kid came to me and said, I've got this great invention, and I was thinking it's worth investing in this. I could possibly do that. I mean, and it just took off. It's humongous, and it's just amazing what he would do. But every company starts out really small. All these guys on YouTube that are huge, that are massive, that are even medium. You know what they started with? 0 subscribers. But we're now in our 20s. We want to get to 100. So what can you do to help us out?
I bet they could like and subscribe and hit that little notification button.
You know, now I'll make you a deal. I'm thinking of a number, 1 to 1,000,000. If you guess the number, these people have to subscribe. 1 to 1,000,000, go. Guess.
892,604.
Oh my God, that was the number.
It's amazing.
You heard them. It's amazing. That's the message from the heavens above, that you really need to reach down, like, and subscribe, because we want you to be part of our first 100 listeners. 100 subscribers, actually. We're well over 100 listeners.
Yep, that's true. That's true. That's the one thing I do complain about is, if you're listening to us, subscribe.
Now, I was going to tell you, because we were talking about submarines before.
Yes, we were.
So President Trump is not happy in the news, and this is the story as I know it right now. I just saw it this morning. I really haven't researched it. This is a ramble, so we just...
Whatever comes off the top of our head on the train.
And President Trump's not happy with Russia not wanting to make peace with Ukraine. So he has sent 2 subs out that way.
Just happen to be heading out.
They're going out that way to be near Russia to kind of say, hey, you know what? We really want you to knock off this Ukraine stuff, because President Trump is tired of people dying. I will say this about Trump. He has had 8 major peace treaties. The guy is really trying to get all these long-term ongoing fights to end. He's really trying. In response, though, Russia has turned around and said, oh, well, we have way more subs out by you than you could ever have by us. And I'm like thinking, Russia, you're broke right now. Whatever subs you have, they're probably falling apart. Maybe you got the good ones by us, but you just could not compete. I mean, you're struggling with Ukraine. If you went against the United States, you would be flattened if it was all-out war that did not go nuclear, because nobody wants that big boom boom. But you were telling me about a book when it came to subs, so that's what made me think of that.
Yeah, we'd rambled through a whole bunch of topics, and we got onto an author by the name of Tom Clancy. He's passed away now, and they've got Greenwell or Greenfield and another person kind of co-write books in his honor, kind of.
Okay, all right.
But Tom Clancy's the original guy. His first book.
He's a very famous author.
Yes, and there's tons of movies out there. It's really good. The first book he ever wrote, and the first movie that got made of it, was Hunt for Red October,
which, by the way, is a fantastic movie.
I've never seen the movie, believe it or not.
You've never seen the Hunt for...
I've never, and for everybody out there listening to land, I have trouble reading. I am an honest-to-God dyslexic, and so I tend to love to listen to books on CD, or books on MP3 now. I can read, don't get me wrong, but it's just easier when I'm going to sit down and do something. And so I've listened to The Hunt for Red October through audio. I love it. It's so detailed. His books are, you've got to be a detailed guy to listen to his books or to read his books. He will spend 20 minutes or 20 pages, on the way the bolt looked. Okay, you've got to be a detail-oriented guy if you want to read his books.
That might be a bit too much for me, but since you're dyslexic, after we're done with this, I say we sit down, we make plans to watch, and I know you're dyslexic, October Red for Hunt.
Okay.
It's backwards.
Yeah, I got it.
That was truly...
That was terrible. Hold on.
That was a knee slapper.
There you go.
All right.
One slap.
So tell me what you were saying about the book divulging secrets.
When the book came out, one of my coworkers happened in a previous life kind of thing to have worked as a radio operator on a submarine in the North Atlantic, right around the time the book was coming out. And so he just happened to be in that world. And so we were talking, and I'd kind of known the story, but it was interesting to hear it from his point of view, being that he had been in that world. And the military was very, very upset that he divulged secrets, to the point where they'd actually gone and kind of, I don't say forcibly, but like, no, you need to interview. We need to interview. We need to find out where you got the secrets from. And come to find out, they weren't secrets at all. He just had the time and energy to go to all the naval libraries and to research this stuff and to critically think, well, if you do it this way, that means this must be that way. And just got it all in his head. And then wrote the book.
So he just went out and got public information.
Then used critical knowledge to go, well, if A and B and C, well, that has to yield D.
Which means if he knew it,
somebody else could figure it out.
The Russians probably knew it. The Chinese probably knew it. They're not dumb people.
Yeah, and it threw the whole military for a loop. And it turned out that not only was he writing these books now, but he was actually one of the people that was consulted quite commonly on secrets and things like that, and processes and procedures. And did he think it would work? Did he think it didn't work? What does he think about these items and that sort of thing? So it's interesting. He got this life of writing books, and I think there's 20 some books or so. And I mean, these are books. When you read these books, they're like 800 pages. Then he had this whole other life where he was basically a consultant for the military on, their own secrets. And it was really interesting. In fact, he was even consulted during the 9/11 kind of research, after it all happened and they're trying to figure all this out. They actually consulted him on some of this to try and figure out, what might have happened and how it happened and whatnot. So it's really interesting. But yeah, anyway, so that was our ramble on that, was the Tom Clancy Hunt for Red October, and how it actually kind of threw the whole military for a loop for a while.
Now, keep in mind, the whole point of a ramble is two guys just talking off the top of their head. We may get things right. We may get things wrong. So take everything we say with a grain of salt. Very cool. Well, with that, have an awesome day, and don't forget to subscribe. And remember, more than anything,
we'll see you at the next stop.
That might be a bit too much for me, but since you're dyslexic, after we're done with this, I say we sit down, we make plans to watch, and I know you're dyslexic, October Red for Hunt.
But I want to hear about the guy in the t-shirt.